All right. Boom and boom. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Boss Shot Shells. I'm Jeff Stanfield, and I've already fucked this up. And you are
I don't even know what you called it.
I fucked it up. I fuck up the entrance all the time.
I don't know how either.
I get tongue-tied.
It's not a difficult intro.
It's not. But my third grade education comes out when I'm doing this shit. Oh. And if I'm not doing this, my Harvard education pops out. With us today, the only man that I know that has seen the Tiger King naked, Mr. Dirk Sorrells. Dirk, how are you doing?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, other than sitting by fucking Andy.
Yeah, well.
You're with Zach.
Nice to see you guys. Last time we were just audio.
I know it. Yeah, it's a little bit different. So now you did not see the Tiger King naked. You just saw him shirtless.
That's correct.
Yeah, like calm down, Jeff.
Yeah.
Calm down over there. So to recap, you did the bullet holes. You're the Tiger King's tattoo artist, but not all of the tattoos.
That's correct.
Right? You only did the good ones. The ones that look like prison tattoos was not you.
Well, he chose some of the worst tattoos he could choose, and I just duplicated them. So he's not a measure of my abilities by any means.
He is really upset that he did not get pardoned by Donald Trump, is what's funny.
Yeah, it is funny, isn't it? I mean, he was running against him in the presidential campaign, remember?
Yeah, no shit. I didn't think about that. That'd be like him pardoning Hillary Clinton.
That's never going to happen.
No, never.
Hell no. The only thing him and Hillary had in common as well, I don't even know if she likes dick either, so who knows? Do you miss your tattoo days?
Not too much. Not too much at all. It's a lot of stress. It was a lot of work. It was great when my children were little. I could set my own schedule. But it took a lot of work home with you. It never ended. The industry sort of fell apart when it became mainstream. Yeah. So a lot more tattooists in the game with a lot less ability. Every little teenage girl and guy wanted their little nickel heart tattoos or, anchors and $40 tattoos. It just kind of ruined the industry. I got out of there in good time. But we're going to rekindle that a little bit with all this excitement about the Joe Exotic stuff. Zach ordered a bunch of tattoo ink and needles for me. And we brought in some machines and, we're going to hit up like Maddie Robinson and Seth Fighter and a couple of these guys with some boss tattoos over the winter.
So you're getting back into the tattoo game then?
Just a little bit. It took a lot of pressure, and we're going to do it. We're going to have some fun with it over the winter.
So they want boss tattoo? Like, how do you do that? Are you working on a design right now, or is this something that they're going to come up with, or is it just going to be like the straight boss logo?
Oh, it'll be a little bit of both. I don't know that it'll be a logo, but we're going to do something fun with them.
Yeah,
now, if me and Andy come up there, would you do the Tiger King's portrait on Andy's ass?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
So where is the most exotic place you've given a tattoo? On a body?
Well, where else would you give one at?
Well, I didn't know if he thought I meant location.
I'd say pretty close to the pubic range in both men and women.
That's got to hurt.
It's gotta hurt. I wouldn't know, but it's gotta hurt.
We have an old guy that lives in Knox City. He's an older guy and he's a friend of mine. And I'm gonna keep his name safe in case his mom listens to this, which I don't think she would. But anyways, he was on a date. And he was probably 55, 60 years old. He was on a date with this lady for the first time, and we're at a city event and it's at the park. And I was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, pretty good." I said, we'll call him Bill. I said, are you Bill's date? Yes. I said. Oh, T.A. And she goes, huh? I said, well, his nickname's T.A. He didn't tell you that? She goes, no. I said, yeah. I said, on the head of his dick, it's got tattooed T.A. And when it gets big, it says Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And he didn't know what to fucking say. I just kind of walked off. I just left it at that and just left her standing there with her jaw dropped.
Yeah. Never had the glory of doing that sort of a thing for somebody, but
Didn't somebody have flames coming out of their butthole, Jeff?
No. No. When you was, who was it? Someone had.
You lied to us.
No. There's someone that did. I just can't remember who it was.
Oh.
They had flames that come out of their asshole. Yes, it was a stripper.
oh well, that's dirty.
I don't know about that.
That little taint area's got to be a little tender. How do we get on a boss podcast about boss and we're talking about flaming assholes?
You brought.
I must be me. I don't know.
Brandon is going to be so disappointed in us.
Oh, he's looking at me smiling right now. Come say hi, Brandon. Oh, we're talking about flaming assholes and tattoos right now.
I'm not going to be a part of that shit.
Say hi. Come on.
Hey, Brandon, me and Andy are coming up, and Andy's going to get the Tiger King portrait tattooed on his ass.
That's how we brought up the flaming asses. I am not.
Tell them what else you're doing.
No, I haven't got there yet, but
Tell them about what?
well, one of those two guys I mentioned might get a measuring stick tattooed on their crank.
No way.
Yeah, somehow there's something like $1,000 on the line if that guy does it. But I don't get anything out of the deal, and I've got a piece of meat, and I don't know how I feel about that.
So now,
So I think I'm going to charge admission $500 a person to come in and watch.
So are they getting paid by the inch, or are they just getting paid for the overall work?
Oh, the overall.
Yeah.
I don't know if by the inch. I don't know what this guy's hung like. So
so now the question becomes to all the listeners, like they've got to
Oh,
figure.
you're not going to ask this.
No. They got to figure out in their minds who he's talking about.
yeah, it's one of the two.
One of the two.
Maddie or the llama.
Yeah, we got to decide.
It was the first one I mentioned, so
So
Mr. Robinson's going to get wild with it.
is this a flaccid state or an erect state?
Oh, it can't be a flaccid. It's got to be.
There ain't no way in hell.
No.
I don't know why I'm getting myself into this, man. It's a Brandon and Zach are pressuring me on this.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's all Brandon.
That was Zach in the background saying, "I got nothing to do with it."
That was Brandon.
That was Brandon.
This will be a little awkward.
Oh, it's going to be a whole lot of awkward, sir.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to tell you right now, for $10,000, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know what I'm getting myself into, Jeff.
Here's the deal.
Would you do that, Andy?
For
We only go around once, right? So we'll see what happens.
Seems like you've been going around a couple of times in that deal.
for $10,000,
For $10,000, would you let him?
I don't think I could. I don't think it's humanly possible to get in the state of mind to pull this off. You know?
Yeah, see, I still don't understand why the guy getting the tattoo gets all the money and the one that's got to hold this thing is just left out in the wind. So I've got some negotiation skills to work on, I think.
Yeah, that's no kidding.
Does that make you gay to hold it while you're doing?
I surely hope not, Jeff. I surely hope not.
What'd you
50
do?
years, I've never been called that, but who knows after this one. Fuck.
What'd you do at work today? I held an erect penis in my hand and drew on it.
Yep. Gathered my hourly. It was great.
That's got to be against some kind of OSHA standards, isn't it?
I don't know what OSHA is, so we'll just skip that. We don't behave with those guys. So
Yeah, I can understand. So
HR department okayed it, so we're fine.
you're at Boss what, full time now, huh? You're
Yeah, I
a
went
part,
full time late summer.
a part of the Boss crew.
So yep, full time part of the Boss crew. Do all the road shows with the team. Drive the bus, load packages, load shells. This weekend we're going up to duck camp, Brandon's little private duck camp, and I take care of hosting that. I do all the camp cooking.
Yeah, I heard you like hop sing.
And yeah, I'm hop sing. Yep, I was actually going to slice ribeyes, frozen ribeyes today while we were talking. There's a meat slicer back there in the corner somewhere. I don't know where it went, but we were going to do that so that we would be ready for Philly steak sandwiches, you know. So I froze some ribeyes. We're going to put them on the slicer, get them ready. We'll be up there tomorrow. That'd be really good.
So, when do y'all go? Y'all are coming back to Texas to the Ducks Unlimited deal, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. When is that? I need to put that on our calendar.
You know, I heard they moved it, so I don't know. Zach, when did they move that duck show? It's in April.
Okay.
All right. Tell him to
Yep.
tell him to text me or to email me those dates so I can do it later.
Yes. Yeah, because you guys were in Michigan when we were down in Texas.
Right.
We missed you.
Yeah. Well, and it turned out to be a really good show. Was it real hot?
It was really hot. It was really dry. It was really spread out. So it was good though. It was a great show.
We're gonna be the one in April.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to meet you
I
in face to face.
Can't wait to see y'all up there, and we may end up in Michigan again next summer. We're trying to figure out where we're going to go stay with as a family, but we're definitely going up north again. We had a great time in Michigan. You live in a beautiful place.
It is a great state.
Other than
It's a
Whitmer.
great state. Well, I mean, there's a lot of other thans nowadays, isn't there?
Yeah. I was talking to Brandon the other day. I'm trying to convince him to move everybody to Texas. Listen, we welcome you with open arms down here. You could start your own tattoo parlor.
Like the idea.
Taxes are great. It's not too cold in the winter. The only problem is it sucks in the summer.
California's moving down there now. Is it going to change your policies at all?
They've
Are
already
they going to bring voting with them?
they've already fucked up Austin. Austin's a shithole.
That's what I've heard.
They could take it to California and wouldn't nobody give a shit, and then our goofy fucking football team can go with them. I'd stay in Michigan is what I'd do. Actually, I think I would move to Vermont or New Hampshire probably is what I'd do.
New Hampshire, the Free State Project.
Beautiful
Are
place.
you familiar with that?
Beautiful, beautiful place. Which y'all is Brandon going to put in a microbrewery there at Boss? Is that next?
Is that next? I don't see that happening.
So how did you become? So you're like the cook there. Do you cook every day at Boss?
No, I don't cook every day at Boss.
No.
When we go up to the property, I'll cook there, and it's been something that's been a passion of mine. I do it at home. I've worked in restaurants a lot. I have some friends that are really great chefs and farmers, so we get together with chefs and farmers a couple times a year and butcher a hog and cook all the fixings and share ideas. So it's a really big passion of mine. So I enjoy it. I enjoy hosting people. I enjoy feeding people. So
you have to freeze the ribeye. Is that how you get the real thin slice? You freeze it first?
that's right. Yep. Otherwise, it kind of balls up
Right.
or mushes when you try and cut it. So you freeze it for a few hours, and then you can slice them really thin.
What is the?
Well, I remember the slicers back there.
So you're doing a whole. You said you do a whole hog. Do you cook everything on the hog just about?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, some of the innards come out, but yeah, we do the whole hog. A buddy of mine has a farm up here. They raise those Mangolista hogs. It's a woolly hog. They have wool like a sheep.
Right.
And they're really, really wonderful fat content. There's not a lot of places in the United States that do Mangolista. So the last one we did, we harvested a Mangolista, did the whole thing. It's a little different than a normal hog because then you've got to put it in a tub and boil it to get that hair out, and then you got to pull the hair out. You don't burn it off; you got to pull it. So it's a lot like plucking a chicken, but on a giant hog, and it's a messy job. But man, are they a delicious hog?
High fat content.
The highest of all the hogs. I think them and Berkshire comes up underneath them, but it's a great, great hog. Mangolista, they're neat looking, man. They are woolly like sheep.
Yeah.
Now, are they they come from Spain, don't they?
Yep, that's a Spanish hog.
That's what I was thinking. I've seen them on TV before. The way they.
Fantastic. If you get any of that stuff, it is the best.
So do you cook it as a whole hog like they do in the Carolinas, or are you quartering it up and cooking it?
No, we cook a whole hog.
I've never had that.
I've never done that either. I've always wanted. They say it's really good. I want to taste the skins, the cracklings on a.
Oh, it's incredible. That and the best piece of meat's the muscle for the back that connects the back of the eye.
Like,
Those are like the sweet pieces. The jowls.
wait a second. So there's a piece that connects the eyeball?
Yeah, the muscles that control the movement of your eyes.
Yeah.
There's muscles in them. That muscle fiber that's in there, they're little pieces like your finger, and they are the best bites on that whole hog.
Ooh.
You have to get around that. You got to pull the eyeball out and do all that gross shit. But once you get to it, you'll be willing to get to it.
Does anybody eat the eyeball?
I've never seen it.
Never?
What about the tongue?
I've never eaten the tongue. I've had beef tongue before, and it's really good, like in Mexican
Oh,
food.
it's great. Linga?
So, Yeah, it's fantastic. Like a pot roast.
Yeah, boy, they make great tacos.
For sure, definitely.
I was so disappointed. I did beef cheeks about 2 months ago on the Traeger.
Yeah.
And, you know, it comes in this great big package, so I'm thinking, hell yeah, that's a lot of meat. But after you trim it, there's nothing left.
There's not much left in
Like,
them.
it was basically just enough to do me and my family. And when I first got it, you know, I thought, shit, I can invite the whole town over and eat on this. But
Yeah.
when you trim
There's not
everything
a lot.
back, there ain't a whole lot of meat left.
Did you eat it on
A lot of
tortillas?
fat renders out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it on, we just did like fajitas, or not fajitas, but just tacos and stuff like that.
Right.
But I was very disappointed in the amount of meat.
We got a new taco stand in Knox City, and they do what's the name of that fucking shit I like? The taco tacos pastor.
El Pastor.
Oh
Yeah.
man, they're so fucking good. Little corn tortillas.
Oh, you guys are in the right place for all that food being down by Mexico, you know.
Yeah. But you know what? I like Tex-Mex food. I don't like real Mexican food. There's a big difference there.
There's a big difference, isn't there?
Yeah, most everything you eat in the United States is Tex-Mex.
Right. Right.
So how's business right now? Y'all busy as shit every morning?
Of course, yep. We can't keep up with it, and we work all day, work long hours, and sell out by the next morning and start all over again.
Now, how are those blue holes going? Are those are popular, I bet, aren't they?
Man, we just started sending them out this week, so I haven't heard anything back really, but they are sharp. You know, we started with those a long time, 3 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we had blue holes right off the bat.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Are the blue holes made by different manufacturers that make the yellows and the reds?
Same manufacturer.
And they have availability on some blue plastics.
Yeah, we had some. We were able to get some of those, so we took them.
What is the situation? I know I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but I had a guy call me yesterday from Kansas, and he's like, "Hey, are y'all fixing to have the Boss guys on? Because I put the picture of the green cap that I stole from Randy. So Randy in Canada, your cap is on my head now, and they're sending you another one here because I like this cap. But anyways, he asked me. He said, "Are you going to have them guys on?" And then Andy scheduled this right after that. And anyways, he asked me, and I said, from what I understand, I asked Brandon because I told Brandon we were going to plug this. Is that at 10 o'clock in the morning, y'all open up y'all's phone lines or the online stuff, and then y'all are sold out by noon every day? Is that about right?
I tell you, so whatever we manufacture today, we'll do a count of, and then put it online at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I've seen them sell out completely everything, and I think our fastest was 8 minutes. And usually you're not going to last an hour with that stuff, and it's gone.
So if you're listening to this and you've got a hunt planned, you better be online at 9 a.m., not 9:03, 9 a.m. And if you're going snow goose hunting, you're probably SOL anyways, but you need to order your shit now. You should have ordered it 3 months ago.
Yeah, they're a little late in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Now you've started hunting more, from what Brandon is saying. Like it's a big passion for you now.
It is. I've done this year's been really a great kickoff. I've done a lot of different hunts. We went on a 4-day goose hunt, and during that I was able to hunt from standing corn. We hunted from an A-frame. We hunted in a loaf pond. I've been out in a winter wheat field. We've done ducks up at the farm, and I've got a layout boat scheduled for November 4th over in Lake St. Clair and here in Michigan. So it's been a really condensed couple months. I've learned a ton, and really just have fallen in love with it.
Because before this, you worked in a shotgun shell place, and I mean you didn't really waterfowl hunt.
Yeah, my father was a waterfowler. I lost him early in life, and my godfather was really big in it. And so as a under 12-year-old, I'd been out a couple times, but as an adult, I've never. So this year we really got into it, and I've really fallen in love with it. You know, my passion for a long time was surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And I explained to Brandon that it hits all the same notes that surfing did in my brain. So if you think about surfing, you kind of get all your gear, you wait, it's weather, it's dependent on a lot of things. And when it's time to go, you go.
Right.
And then you get there with your friends and you suit up and you paddle out. And then you have to sit there and wait, and you're overlooking water in this beautiful environment. And when the wave comes and the set's yours, it's time to pull the trigger, jump on it, and go, you know?
Yeah.
And then you paddle back out and you sit and wait. So it's kind of the same thing. You're weather dependent. You're in these beautiful locations. You're out there with your buddies. You're all geared up. You're waiting and looking over the horizon, waiting for something to come in that's just right. And when they come in, it's time to go, and your adrenaline cranks up. And then you clean up your spot and you sit and wait again. It's very similar. It just it hits all the same notes. It's pretty cool.
I never in a million years would have been able to compare surfing and hunting. But you're right. It sounds exactly. I mean, it's the same.
It hits the same
process.
Notes.
It's the same process.
It's the same process, and it hits all the same notes. What really is kind of neat is like goose call. When they start goose calling, they're calling them in. It starts getting louder and louder and louder and building. And this like adrenaline starts cranking up, and it's kind of the same thing. You see that wave out in the horizon that you know is yours, and it's coming, and everybody's turning to get into position, and it just hits the same notes. When I walked away from it, I felt like the same joy.
Now,
that's a hard thing for me to find.
Did you ever have? Why is that? Just because it's hard to find a passion that hits that deep for you, or what?
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to find something that really resonated like that, and this sport does 100%.
Now, did you have any close calls in your surfing days?
Yeah, there's been a couple times where it was a little sketchy.
Just because, like, you got caught in you got pushed down?
Caught in a rip and kind of pushed out. One time I took a old surfboard when I was probably 18 or 19. A buddy of mine's dad had an old surfboard from California from the 50s, and those things are heavy. Mm-hmm. They're 11 feet long, weigh like 50 pounds, and I fell ahead of it. Ooh. And was able to get my breath and come back up out of water, and it hit me right in between the eyes and knocked me out in the water.
Oh, shit.
So, or stunned me, damn near knocked me out. You know, I wasn't able to really do much for myself, and this guy's father pulled me out of the water.
Whew.
So it's pretty close.
Would you ever surf by yourself, or did you always try to surf with other people?
I mean, the rule of thumb is buddy system, but I've surfed by myself plenty of times.
I saved a guy's life in Mexico one time from that.
He got hit with a surfboard?
He got hit with a boogie board, knocked his fucking ass out, and I picked him up off of Puerto Vallarta on the shit. I was 18 years old. I mean, knocked his ass out fucking smooth, boy.
A boogie board.
Yep. Well, generally, the surfers are the ones saving the other people.
It's what now?
Generally, the surfers are the ones that save the swimmers.
No, this guy was on a boogie board,
right?
And
it's usually reversed.
Well, I was on a boogie board too. So y'all are judging me as a fat guy. You're thinking that fucker never done nothing like that. Well, I was doing it because I wasn't near as fat then, but it knocked his ass out cold. He was a fireman from Toronto, Canada, and I picked him up and drug him out of the water.
Yeah, they've never seen it.
He was fucking out cold. He had a hot daughter though. But anyway,
yeah, it's a wild thing. It's a pretty neat sport.
Surfing is. Now you did it. You did the cold weather. You did that, right? With the ice in your beard and
cold weather. Yep, ice beards. Well, I've done both freshwater lake surfing, which has become this big thing, and I lived on the East Coast quite a many years through North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida. Mm-hmm. So I've done all the hurricane surfing on the Outer Banks.
Fuck that. God almighty.
All that.
Did you ever worry about a shark?
Yeah, sometimes. That East Coast gets kind of sharky. A lot more so than I think the West Coast, and the water gets kind of murky. And when it gets murky and milky, it left me uneasy sometimes. Yeah.
Nah, there's no way in hell I could do that. There's just because of that reason. I would much rather be clear water where I can see that bastard before he eats me.
Absolutely, yeah. So as soon as it gets murky and it takes that milky green color, it made me nervous. You bump something here with your foot or whatever, and it gets you.
We were at Cocoa Beach in Florida is the number one shark population density, and the boys were swimming there in the water one time, and I'm like, fuck this, we're fixing to go home with one less kid probably.
It's true. Yeah, down there north of Palm Beach, there's Jupiter Island, Jupiter Farms and that, and there's an inlet, Jupiter Inlet right there, and the people shore fish there, and the poor broke surfers will get $5 to throw a baited chum hook on the front of their board and paddle it out further than those guys can cast it. And that used to give me the fucking creeps, man, because you'd be surfing right there and they're dumping the chum out just out past you. So
no thank you on that.
Yeah, and that area of Florida, once again, that's where all the shark bites happen.
As a non-surfer guy, but seeing the surfers and stuff, is that kind of like a group of like old hippies or gypsies that just go from place to place that don't have a lot of money, most of them, but just live for the love?
There are those guys, but it becomes far more well-rounded than that. You know, there's guys that are military to just about all walks of life, professional athletes, musicians, everybody. You know, it's a soulful thing. Once you get the bug for that, it's hard to ever let it go, no matter where you're at in life.
Now you can surf in Michigan, can't you?
That's what he said.
It's become a big thing. So I grew up in right on Lake Michigan. My house that my folks owned was right next door to the Coast Guard station. So I had to walk about 100 yards, and I was in the water surfing. So it was probably 12 or 13 years old we started doing it, and it was we thought we were the only people in the state that did it. And throughout our teens and 20s, and then the internet came around, and it became this really big community. We realized that there was happening in all the Great Lakes and in Canada and Superior and Michigan and across the lake, and everybody started connecting. And now big time surfers from all over the world will come into the Great Lakes because it's one spot they haven't ever done is surf a freshwater lake. So Red Bull brought in some guys a couple of years ago and surfed with some of my friends up in Superior, and they brought in a big wave surfer from Hawaii for a winter big day in Superior, and it shook that dude. He was underestimating what he was getting into.
Where is the best surfing at on the Great Lakes?
I'd say right here in our corner in the southeast corner of Lake Michigan, the southwest corner of the state of Michigan. Mainly because we get a lot of northwest winds, so that water has a long ways to move and build. It's called the fetch. Mm-hmm. The fetch of that wave can come a long ways down the lake and develop and build through that deep water, and then kind of round its way into the southern end of the lake on the east side of Lake Michigan. So it has a longer fetch. And that allows the waves to develop larger and spread out further between crest to crest.
How big of waves are we talking about here?
Anywhere from head high to, we have buoys out that NOAA, the atmospheric organization, has out here. And our buoy is number 007. So we go to the James Bond buoy and see what it is. And it'll top 20, 22 feet sometimes.
Son of a bitch.
That's a big wave.
So like when y'all get those big nor'easters, or I don't think it's good nor'easter, just the big cold fronts.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that's when the big action happens?
Right now it starts. This is the time of year it starts, and you go through until the lake freezes solid. You can't get out anymore. Or you push your way through some of those icebergs and get out there and have fun.
It's too freaking cold, God. That wetsuit don't keep you that warm. Woo!
Dry suit.
For a couple hours. It keeps you warm. That first hour you get pretty warm.
You do? Just from your activity level?
Yeah, from the activity level. Actually, after you'll paddle out, a lot of times I'll take my chin and open it up and scoop a gallon of water, of that ice water, to flush out your suit because it's so warm. The only way you can exhaust any heat is around your face. Mm-hmm. So when you do start working hard and warming up, there's no place for that heat to exhaust. So you got to kind of flush that suit out after a while. And that's common thing. But after 2 hours, it gets pretty chilly. It's time to go in and be safe, I
bet that's a cold ass walk back to the car.
Well,
oh geez.
It's
a cold ass walk back to the car. Well, the hard part's getting the damn suit off when your fingers are fucking numb and everything else. I'm too old to pull those suits off, man. I got a bad back, so now when it gets cold like that, I can't do it anymore.
See
it's hard to get that stuff off.
Those suits are made for skinny people. That's like a thong for women. They should make them some bitches an extra large. If you're too fucking, you shouldn't be wearing one. If you're a 3X guy, your ass don't need to look like the Michelin Man in a fucking rubber suit. It just don't look good.
Yeah, they're 5 millimeters thick, man.
They'll
hold you together. Does
that impede you whenever you're surfing? Like, is it hard to do it with that bulky suit on?
They can impede you. Yeah, they'll measure them in what they call like millimeters. So it's a 6, 5, 4, 6 through the chest, mm-hmm. 5 in your arms and legs, and then they'll put 4s in your bendy areas. So you have a little bit of movement, but that's a lot of neoprene to move around. So when you're paddling, it's like pulling rubber bands, and it does exhaust you quite a bit more.
Have you surfed in Hawaii?
Nope, never been to Hawaii.
Me neither. Place I won't ever go to. But I wonder what that used to be the place everybody went. That was the big surfing place. Everybody thought that in South Africa, right?
Oh yeah, the Cape of South Africa. That's Shark City, man.
Fuck that.
It's dangerous. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I don't need anyways. So
Well, I was talking to a guy, and he was a real interesting guy. I was talking to him at a party last week, and he was talking about spearfishing. And,
that's cool.
And when he spearfished, what he would do is he would just kind of he would keep the fish in between his legs. And he said one time he got to looking down, and there was other people in the water, and he said he felt a bump on his leg. Shark eating those fish.
Yeah, they'll come eat your fish.
That were in between his legs, and he was like, "Nope, we're going to the top. We're done. We're done here."
Yeah, spearfishing is a neat game, man. I've got a couple spear guns, and I definitely prefer spear gunning in Lake Michigan than I do out in the ocean because, those fish, the sharks go for anything that vibrates a lot or shows injury. So you're going to shoot that thing, and that fish is doing this on the end of your line, just signaling anything to come near you, and you're sitting there with a bloody fish in a bag on your hip.
Yep, that's
doesn't seem to be the move I like anymore.
No, that was.
But in the Great Lakes, it's a lot of fun. I like doing it in the lake when it's nice.
There's a lot of diving goes on in the Great Lakes. I don't think people realize how popular it is up there because it's crystal clear water. There's all kinds of wrecks.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrecks.
And
it's a dangerous body of water.
You're talking like scuba diving?
Oh yeah, there's tons of divers there. Yeah, there's because. Shit, I think there's probably as many ships wrecked in Lake Superior, Michigan, as there is in the Caribbean. Just about. I mean, there's a ton of ships.
There's hundreds of them. There's ships. There's airplanes. There's old parts of towns that have fallen in. I mean, there's a lot.
Andy would have been an expert diver, but in St. Lucie, y'all didn't get a dive.
We didn't get to. Have you ever scuba dived? Scuba dove?
I have. Down last time was down in Turks and Caicos in Grand Turk. That's one of the best premier dive destinations in the world.
So you're like certified and all that good stuff.
Yep, I had a certification.
You are definitely the best character that Boss has. They should pay you extra just for your stories. I mean, the guy can slice prime rib. He is given a penis tattoo.
He is going to give a penis tattoo. He is not given
a diver, a surfer. Have you parasailed yet, or have you hang glided yet?
Neither of those.
Okay,
Neither of those.
That would have made him.
You know what looks cool is that paragliding where you put the motor on the backpack and fly around.
Yeah.
It looks like something I would probably really enjoy, but nope, never jumped out of a plane or anything like that.
My overnourished brother is buying one of those. And he can't wait, and he's like, "Y'all don't want to go up with me?" I don't even like riding in a car with him. I damn sure ain't getting in a fucking paraglider. Yeah,
you could get that rig for like $5,000.
And he's lying about the weight limit on there. He's like fudging the numbers on it to get the damn thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just ill-fated from the get-go.
I told the guy he weighed 480. Tony goes, "I weigh no 480 fucking pounds." That's what
It looks pretty neat, man. It looks pretty neat.
I'm not into
that. Maybe he can fly over to Texas Motor Speedway this year at the Ducks and can take you buzzing around over there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, y'all can buzz over DFW and catch a plane.
I wonder if we could shoot hogs from that thing.
You can.
Oh, that's what we got to do.
Last thing I need is a firearm up in there in the sky with me. How hard? So we were going to scuba dive. We went to St. Lucie and we were going to scuba dive down there. Is it a tough thing to learn, or is it pretty straightforward?
No, you can get your whatever they call it a vacation permit or something like that, and it's a 1-hour class. It's pretty easy. You stay within 30 feet of the surface, and it's a real no-brainer.
What's the furthest that you've gone down?
30, probably 30 or 45 feet. Not much deeper than that, right. But I'm honestly not that comfortable when I know I can't make it to the surface on my own. Because
that's the thing with that. At that depth, you can go to the surface at any time. You don't have to worry about decompressing. Because it's every 30 feet is another atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
another atmosphere. So yeah, at that point you've got to slow your roll on the way up and let your nitrogen balance out and everything. So
there was the guy that I was talking to that does the spearfishing. He's also a scuba diver, and he does the deep water stuff. And I guess whenever they do the deep water stuff, they add helium to the tanks because the oxygen would compress too much And then at a
Right.
certain depth, that oxygen becomes toxic, and
Yep.
so they add helium to the tanks. But
Yeah, it's a whole different thing they're doing.
Me and Andy had a conversation on here a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or something, and of course he didn't believe me. But the deep diving, those that take a single breath there, they go down 1,000 feet. Is that what we read?
I think so. I'd have to.
I think it
look
was
back up.
1,000 feet,
Scuba divers?
sir.
Or the scuba divers or the snorkel?
no,
free diver.
The single
free divers.
I know they go down really far and they'll hold their breath for 3, 4, 5 minutes, man.
Yeah, if I do that, you're bringing me up in a coffin.
Man, it happens to those guys. They lost one of the world's best last year.
Yeah, it happens. You know, that's when you're the best at that. That's how you're going to die. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, you are. It really is. I mean, they're playing the odds pretty tight.
But this guy was saying, like, if you come up, like, you have to come up at a certain, you got to come up, you know, according to the thing. He said, you know, if you come up too fast, you're better off drowning.
You follow your bubble up, I think, is what they do when they're just single breath. You can only do that with one breath, right? You need to go down with what you have and
Yes.
come up with what you have.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
I can't. I'm afraid of water anyway. That's why I don't really like surfing. Or
Well-
I wouldn't want to surf.
But you're going to scuba dive.
Well, Jeff, I'm not going to the depths of the ocean. Like I said, when you're scuba diving at that depth, you can just come up to the surface if you get in trouble.
I've got a client of ours that they were night diving off of Cancun somewhere, and they went down and they had lights, and all of a sudden his wife's light went fast right by him. Never saw her again.
What?
Yeah, something grabbed her, and that was it. They don't know what happened to her.
I was invited. There was a night dive when I was in Turks and Caicos. There was a night shark dive, and I passed on it.
Yeah.
It was the only dive of that trip. I was down there for 14 days, I think. And that was the only dive that I had no interest in.
No.
But he did.
Hard pass.
And this guy told me this. I mean, he told me, he said, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden her light went shooting straight down real fast. And he thought,
Oh, my
he was
God.
like, what the hell's going on? And he said, you know, we went up to Dylan, kept waiting for her to come up without her light and stuff, waited and waited and waited and waited. And we called, but they never seen her again. Don't know what happened to her.
That's a nightmare.
Fuck yeah.
So
I mean, for one, you're going to be so worried about your loved one, right? And for two, you're in that water having to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of fear and tension in that situation would be overwhelming.
It'd be horrible. I mean, just God.
I wouldn't be able to hold my shit together for that one. I would lose it.
Yeah.
and people don't realize, like, there's a lot of shit in the ocean we don't even know about. There's monsters out there.
I believe that there is, man. I believe there is some big, big things that we don't know that are down there.
And I mean,
I'm a believer.
it's pitch dark. Like, what, you know, you're not going to do anything. It's pitch dark. Like, that's when all the things that go bump in the night come out.
You're out of your element.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
imagine
you're at a big disadvantage.
You imagine having to get on an airplane and go back to your life and knowing that you'll never know what happened to her.
No,
I mean,
it'd be heartbreaking.
yeah.
You'd never. It would shake you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And that's the kind of guy that I would sit by on an airplane and go, how was your vacation? And then,
Just foot in the mouth, man.
how was your vacation? We had a good time. How about you? You know, was food good, drinks good? Well, I went diving and my wife never came back up. I'd be like, oh shit.
Just saw her light
I'd be
disappear.
like, God dang, I had to ask. You know?
I just had to start talking to this guy. So you're hunting what, this weekend, huh? You got a big trip planned?
We've got 7 guys coming up to Brandon's property. He's got 300 plus acres of preserved wetlands about an hour from here. I'm not going to hunt this weekend. I think I'm just going to provide meals and take care of the guys while they're up there this week and just kind of lay low and have that end of it. But I don't think I'm going to hunt myself this weekend. I'll let the guys.
You don't have to say who, but there's a high profile individual that you're going to be rubbing elbows with this weekend. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, you're going to you'll get some good stories, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
So I guess there's a new Tiger King's coming out, isn't there?
There's a season 2 coming out. And actually, when we got back from Texas at that duck show, we arrived back into the shop. I parked the RV, and went home, and I got a call from Brandon about 5 minutes later. He says, listen, you got to pick up the phone and call this guy. He's calling the shop looking for you. His name's Lorenzo. And Lorenzo's from Universal Studios Pictures. He goes, I don't know if it's a joke or what, but he's calling looking for you. So I called this guy, Lorenzo, out in California, and sure enough, we can look forward to a feature-length film about the Tiger King.
Got
and
'em.
they called me because they needed my sign-off legally because I guess those tattoos are my intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So for their hair and makeup stylists to duplicate those tattoos, I needed to circle the ones I did and sign my name off, and so their legal department was clear. So it's being shot, I think, in Australia, of all places, but it's going to be a feature-length film coming out in the next couple of years, I imagine.
But
I
what? But
can't
what's,
imagine anybody wanting to watch this.
but what's interesting is
You know what's going to happen is they're going to make it's just not going to go good for me. They're going to go into some methed out tattoo lab,
right.
some goofy ass tattooist, and it's just not going to be me. But whatever, it'll be fun.
Why didn't you ask him to let you do your own spot and get paid?
I did say I'd fly out and be an unpaid extra and be glad to take care of it. I mean, who knows if they're even going to have the tattoo shop in it? It might just, it might not even be there. It's just, and he said he just tracks shit down for the legal team, and that's not his thing. And I said, well, put that in the notes and give me a call if you need me. But we'll see what the whole script looks like. But I doubt that they, as I said, they might not even address the tattoo shop story.
I saw the one guy that's on that show at a casino one night. The rich kid from California or whoever it was. He's fucked up on drugs and shit, I think, and all kind of. And matter of fact, he crashed out at the casino one night, and they took him by a helicopter. I think he had a stroke or some shit. But they hang out right there by the WinStar Casinos where that place is at. But man, what a fucked up story.
Yeah.
That was a great series, though. I'm going to tell you right now, it was like Honey Boo
Oh, it's
Boo.
great.
Once you turn it on, you can't turn it off.
Well, Honey Boo Boo, come on, that was the
Oh.
greatest. That little girl was comedic genius, man. That little girl was comedic
I
genius.
loved Honey Boo Boo.
Cracked me up.
I did, man. Anytime I watch Honey Boo Boo, I felt so good about my own life.
Yeah, especially when they started cooking because we weren't eating butter sketty or multi-meals.
Yeah, that's right. Multi-meals. I forgot about that
Yep,
shit.
multi-meals and butter sketty. Ketchup with butter.
And then the fat middle sister, her executive shirt or whatever she'd have, just an Oxford white shirt, my executive shirt. I bet those kids are so fucked up now.
Yeah, I bet so. You get in that world, and whether you're a hillbilly or rich or whatever, you get in that Hollywood spin, and they take advantage of you. You're going to come out the back end messed up.
That poor bastard that was married to her fat ass. I can't remember, Honey Bear or Sugar Bear, whoever he
Honey
was.
Sugar Bear.
Yeah, whew. That guy won. That guy hit the lottery of life right there, marrying that heifer. God Almighty.
so.
She's cleaned up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, then her forklift feet, where she'd been run over by a forklift. Oh, I love that show.
We got season 2 Lion King coming up in the future, so buckle up, buddy. It's going to be fun.
Tiger King, not Lion King.
Oh, Tiger King. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, Tiger King.
He talked about that guy's balls at his guy's funeral. And they were beautiful nuggets. That's what he said.
Lord.
What
Oh,
else?
man, there's only one of them.
What else do they have to tell of this story? Is what I can't figure out.
We're going to find out. There's got to be a lot more there.
They're probably going to really push on Dirk the penis tattooist. That's what they're probably going to do now.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that call yet, so
Well,
I'll be real. That's when I move to Texas. I'll go in hiding and live in your barn or something.
Now, I have picture proof that Zach is the one who gave $1,000 offer for the tattoo.
Oh, you do, huh?
I have picture proof of that.
He did.
I do have that picture proof of that on my phone now.
Yeah, that's fine. But
Yeah.
here's the kicker: I'm going to sell seats to this event.
You're thinking you're the new Don King now.
Yeah, yep, and I'm Mike Tyson.
There you go.
Andy has no idea there's going to be 300 people here watching this thing.
Maybe we could do that live on the
Jokes-
Big Honker
jokes on him,
podcast.
boy.
What do you think?
We would love to do that.
So, my question is, and I'm not the only sick individual that listens that's thinking this now, is how's this guy going to keep an erection?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that it's physically possible to do this.
So, I mean, are we going to have pictures of Britney Spears' "Oops" doing it again behind you, or what's going on here to keep him going?
I don't know. Maybe it'll be Pornhub and some Viagra.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Zach could keep that thing fluffed up for him, too.
Oh, man.
I need to take 3 Viagra. Busy night. Nope, getting a tattoo.
No, I'm getting a tattoo.
Somehow I always bring the quality of this show down. I don't know what we're talking about.
No, after the last couple that we've done, it's all up from here.
Right. All right.
You've never done a penis though, so
Nope. Never done a penis.
That makes two of us in here. What about you, Andy?
Done it, tattooed it, touched it, nothing.
nothing.
I can safely say the only penis I've ever touched is my own.
Yeah, that's generally the safest rule to follow in life.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, I played quarterback, so I can't safely say that. But he had, we had clothes on.
Yeah.
The skin is what I wonder about. Is it going to be a different texture?
What do you?
It's got to be tight. That skin's got to be tight.
Right.
It's like a balloon, right? You can't poke a needle in an empty balloon. It's got to be filled up to pop it. So it's got to be hard and stretched out somehow. I'm going to try and maybe there's a contraption I could come up with that'll stretch it out for me. I don't know.
You could get like a vise, maybe. Get like a vise and vise it in on one end, like have them back up or something. There's ways around this.
I'm sure he'll approve a vice on his cock. No problem.
This can't be the first penis tattoo in the world. Like, this.
No, I actually looked up some articles. Why would you get a penis tattoo and how, so they're out there. There's plenty of information on it.
I just, it's. And now now the poor public has to figure out which of these professional anglers is going to be walking around with a yardstick tattooed to his penis.
God, I hope they don't lose their sponsorships over this conversation.
Nah, they'll be all right. They'll be fine.
Stan will step up.
It'll all be fun and games.
Yeah.
You know what? This is proven to people though that working at Boss or working everywhere, the workplace is the same everywhere you are. Everybody has fun, laughing. I mean, that's what life's about.
If it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Brandon says about this business, we all agree. If we can't have fun doing this, then it's time to move on.
Yeah, that's what it's. Y'all's is no different than the hunting lodge is. I mean, that's the kind of shit we talk about. And now we've never.
You're going to an extreme. You're taking a stance that we've never taken out here at the Big Honker Lodge. Like, clarify that, Jeff.
Well, I just don't think we have the people with the girth around here to have a penis tattoo.
No,
I don't think we're swinging a lot of meat around here like they are there up in Boss. It don't sound like.
That's also part of it.
Yeah, it must be a fisherman thing.
Yeah, I think my team's more growers than growers than showers for sure around here.
Well, yeah, there's a line there whether you'd rather be a grower or just a good heavy hanger, What do you want?
Exactly right.
I don't know.
I would take either.
Well,
I would definitely take either. My genetics suck. So when the tattoos went mainstream, could you see yourself just being like, I got to get out of this?
Yeah, pretty much immediately.
Really? Because what happened? Like, it went from tattoos meaning something to people to put a pretty little butterfly?
It was a subculture, and people who got them were into it, it was what they lived for, and they'd get big tattoos, and they had great ideas, or not. They just got tattoos, whichever way it worked. But it was people that sought out this kind of a subculture lifestyle, and it separated you. You became kind of a group, and then there was only a few people who did it. It was a skill. It was a craft. You could go 90 miles into Chicago, get a tattoo. You could go 50 miles up to Kalamazoo to get a tattoo, or you could get it right here where we were, And then, there might have been 8 or 10 of us within 100 miles. And then when the tattooing shows came out, all of a sudden every kid in the world was buying kits with no skill and putting signs on their doors and tattooing garbage without any skill or learning. And then, everybody needed just this little tiny anchor or heart or infinity symbol, and they'd come in and you'd have a shop minimum of $50, and they'd be like, well, I could get it down the road with the new guy for 30. And you'd say, go ahead, have at it. Yeah. And then they'd be back a week later and ask you to fix it, and you'd tell them to get fucked. Or you'd tell them it's $200 to fix it. And, so it just kind of saturated the industry. So and then there was artists everywhere. And when you saturate things and water them down, they're just not the same anymore.
What's the weirdest tattoo you've ever given?
Bullet holes.
God, I get that question all the time.
It was bullet holes, wasn't it?
Well, I get that question a lot. And in some respects, they're all kind of weird, right? what clicks for one person might not do it for another, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Maybe the property of Joe would have been a weird one.
Yeah, I bet it
We're
was.
just working with those guys would have been the weirdest time. But you know, I mean, I've got a severed head of a gypsy on my arm, you know, and that's weird. But it meant something to me. Somebody else might think it's odd.
What did that symbolize to you?
Well, my mom's a German immigrant. She was born in 36 and was like a war child. And her house was bombed. And so I go over to Germany as a young kid and young adult and spend 2 or 3 months a year there, different times throughout the year, with my grandfather and grandmother. And there's still, those old Germans are still kind of witchcrafty, and you know, so what they used to keep you in line was that the gypsies will come get you. And I used to sleep and worry about gypsies coming in the window quite a bit. So
That
at one point, kind of a thing to remind myself of that whole upbringing. That's why.
That's what they tell you at night. Hey, sleep tight.
Oh yeah,
Be good, or the
Be
gypsies
careful.
are going to come get you.
absolutely, absolutely.
Because the gypsies that's who Hitler exterminated, the gypsies and the Jews.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the gypsies have been throughout Europe for a long time, and they, I don't know, they were just around for a long time, and they kind of, I don't know the history of them completely, but it was something the Germans liked to use to keep the boogeyman, you know, it was something to keep you in line.
Well,
A friend of mine went to Bucharest. That's in Romania, right?
And that's the gypsies, right? Yeah.
He said that's the dirtiest place he's ever been and the coldest place he's ever been. But he said the women were absolutely beautiful, but scary as hell.
Eastern European women are the most gorgeous
Yeah.
women on the planet.
But
why do you say they
That's
were
my-
scary?
he said they look at you with those eyes, and he said they mesmerize you, and you know they're going to steal your fucking wallet.
Steal your wallet, cut you,
Yeah.
try and marry you, and take all your money.
Yeah, but he said the women were. He said Elizabeth Taylor at her prime could have been a gypsy woman. He said they're beautiful women,
Sure.
but just
Absolutely.
But he says it's just He says it was cold. He said like down to your spine cold. He said those people are just.
Yeah.
He said it's a rough, hard life over there.
Yeah, Eastern Europeans have had a really hard life, man.
Yeah.
They've especially since the fall of the, you know, communist curtain over there in Russia and everything, the USSR, when that fell apart, so many of those other countries were dependent on the money that Russia was passing out to keep other communist areas alive, you know, that when that fell apart, they lost everything and they weren't able to feed themselves. Bread lines popped up. There was no economy, you know, and that's tough life, man.
Might be a lot like what's about to happen here in America if we're not too fucking careful. They've already said like just lower your expectations. Don't worry about the supply chain. Just lower your expectations. Well,
Yeah, I like to eat.
It's a pretty confusing place we're living right now.
Oof. I just don't see it getting much better anytime soon. I did see
No.
today, we have not talked politics. I really don't want to bring a lot of politics, but I thought this was funny.
Sure thing.
Ted Cruz introduced a bill today to send all these illegal immigrants to Nantucket, all these big liberals where they go vacation where they don't want nobody at. He just introduced a bill in the Senate today. If we're going to bring these people in, that's what we're going to take them to.
Yes, send them to the big cities and the Democrat areas.
Yep.
send them over there.
Let them deal.
What? So you last time we talked, you have a parrot, and don't you have a parrot with a peg leg?
It's seagull with a peg leg. Yeah.
Seagull with a peg leg.
Seagull with a peg leg, a tobacco pipe, and a Jacques Cousteau hat.
Now, what? Tell that story again, because my memory is fuzzy.
It was just I kind of considered that myself. You know, it was an image of myself. I grew up on the lakefront, and seagulls were always around, and the peg leg pirate lifestyle, and smoking a tobacco pipe. I loved Jacques Cousteau back as a kid, so we had to put him in a Jacques Cousteau sweater and hat. And it's a cool little tattoo.
And where? That's on your leg?
That's on the back of my arm.
Back of your arm. What do you have? You got something on your leg, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple things on my leg. I've got actually my left leg's all. I'm not taking my clothes off, Zach. Thank you. One of my legs, actually, when I got married, with the bachelor party, me and all my buddies went out to the distilleries around here and got tore up, and we took the limo to the tattoo shop at night, and then they all tattooed my leg, and none of them were tattooists or artists. So I've got a hodgepodge of goofy shit on one of my legs. It's a little area kind of, but it's pretty meaningful. It's sometimes it's not the process, it's the result. It's not like it's not the quality, it's the memory sometimes, and those are just great memories. So, and then I've got a jackalope wearing a monocle tattooed on my leg, wearing a suit. So that's kind of like the fancy jackalope. I don't know, collections of shit. It's been over 10 years since I've been tattooed at all. So,
are you going to get another one anytime soon?
I have no plans or interest in it, really.
You're not going to let Zach put a ruler on your penis then?
No, nope. That's a solid no.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised that during this kind of rebirth of tattooing for fun for a couple months and hitting a couple of the boss guys and having fun with it, just as more of a companionship thing, and having some fun. I could see myself getting a little something along the lines there.
Who at the shop will not be getting a tattoo, you think?
Brandon.
Yeah, I think so too.
No way? Not happening?
No, I couldn't see it happening.
Really? Everybody else is doing it, though. Come on, give in to peer pressure a little bit, Brandon.
It's not going to happen. That's just my opinion. I've never even broached the subject, but I couldn't see it happening.
When if you still have your tattoo stuff, when we come to Texas Motor Speedway, I'm going to have you put my logo on my ankle.
That sounds like a great idea. The Big Honker podcast.
I'm going to have you put.
We talked about doing it in the RV at one of these shows and like having a camera inside so you could watch it on the television screen on the outside of the bus. Just for shits and giggles, we thought it'd be cool. But
at Texas Motor Speedway, I'm going to have you put my logo on my ankle.
There you go.
Is the vibration? Is that it's a soothing sound. Is that soothing to you whenever you're giving the tattoo also? Like, it just kind of puts you in this place of relaxation?
Same thing as when you're in the shop here. Like right now, the machines aren't running, so I could talk. And when those machines aren't running, you're not making noise. You're not making money, right?
Right.
So same thing. When the machines are running, that's money time. So yeah, it's soothing. Nowadays, they're using a different machine than I used for my whole career. They're pretty much silent and cordless now, so it's a different way that it works. So we used coil machines, and they were really loud, made that buzzing noise. And now they use something that looks very similar to a pen, and it's a rotary machine. They move differently, and they're almost silent, and there's no cords or foot pedals or anything. So it's a whole different game nowadays. And some of the guys are still using the older machines, but yeah.
When the Tiger King would come in, would he be all like done up and fancy, or was he just look like he'd been rode hard and put up wet whenever he came in? I know you said it smelled like butt sex and axe.
Yeah, well, that's the story. But anyhow, that even when he came in, he looked pretty rode hard and put away wet, even when he was dolled up.
When he's dolled up.
When he would do a stage show, like a magic show.
Right.
So, magicians and stage people, there's stage makeup. Even the dudes wear stage makeup. And so at one point we tattooed his eyeliner on so he wouldn't have to put this makeup on all the time. So when you look at pictures of him, he's got this thick black eyeliner on him. That's a tattoo, man.
My wife does that. That's what my wife does. She does the
cosmetic?
Permanent cosmetics.
She does it as a living?
Yes.
Okay, she's the actual application person. So yeah, I had one time my mother-in-law, when I was tattooing, started doing that, and it's a different process.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. The inks aren't permanent because styles change, and women want to be able to change their styles up a little bit.
Right.
But it's pretty neat.
I can't believe my wife. I just tattooing next to an eyeball scares me.
Man, on the lash line, so it's literally above the lash on that, like on the lash line. It's right there.
Yeah. And I mean, she just does it. She does it every day. No big deal. But I would be shitting my pants.
Yeah, it seems pretty nerve-wracking. And they use some numbing agents and stuff, but still those women and men that do that cosmetic tattooing, that's an interesting thing they do.
Can you imagine that right now there is the next Tiger King out there? Somebody's got some fucked up dude that lives in their town that's going to be the next Tiger King. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah, they probably have other fucked up dudes locked in their basement.
Yeah. I mean,
did you?
Yeah.
What a story.
When you would have to do these tattoo sessions, they would last all night, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they'd be for like a weekend, pretty much. You know, you'd go 12 hours on, 12 hours off, and we'd do 3 or 4 days worth of them. With, you know, half of their crew would be out at the mall or whatever, showing tigers, and the other half would be in the shop. And then at night they'd switch, and the people that were in the shop during the day would go care for the tigers at night, feed them, groom them, do whatever needed to be done in the pens. And the daytime crew would come in and get tattooed for 12 hours. And they kind of treat the shop like a place to be comfortable, jump on the internet. It was still early on the internet days, you know, it was MySpace time. So there was no like mobile hotspots or anything. So they were happy to get off a bus and come inside and grab a couch and just, they'd lounge around.
I still cannot get over this scene in the tattoo shop whenever these people came in.
It was crazy. always called a friend or two and told them to bring a bottle of whiskey and come on in, because it's time to check out the shit show. And if you want to have some fucking fun, come watch these freaks. It was wild.
Man, I would love to sit and listen to them fuckers talk for hours. Just
your ears would perk up and you could not believe the shit that you were hearing. And I thought I was exposed to a lot, man. I was in the Navy. I've been around the world. I've lived in tattoo shops for a decade. I mean, you can't, you know, I've been in private bike clubs at night, you know, where they lock you into these big bike clubs and run around with those guys. I've seen a lot, man. And then these guys come in and you realize there's a whole nother world out there that you didn't know was going on.
Speaking of bikers, my experiences with actual true biker gang guys, they don't fuck with nobody that don't fuck with them.
That's absolutely true.
The ones that's
kind of their thing.
That if you don't fuck with them, they're the guys I know are really nice guys. And I know some,
if anything, they just watch out for their communities, you know?
Yeah. And the guys that I know, and I know some guys that are have been in serious biker gangs. They don't I'm not going to say their name on here, but I've got a couple of friends.
Yep.
that are true blood. Matter of fact, one guy, I had a problem with a guy one time, and he called me and he said, "Do you need me to help you?" I said, "No, I'm good." He goes, "Well, you know, if you need anything ever, you call me and I can help you." And he listens to this podcast. He'll know I'm talking about it.
That's
and
scary.
It is. But he's a really good guy. But they don't fuck with nobody that don't fuck with him.
Or somebody
up here we had the Avengers Club. It was one of the big East Coast kind of clubs, you know. And we had a bunch of them up here, and I've been in their clubhouse quite a few times. And the first time it was a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I knew these guys, a couple of them pretty well, and actually brought my wife with me, and she's a musician, brought her guitar, and we knew the president was going to be in town. I got invited to come out, and it was one of those things where you come to a big steel door and you get buzzed in, and then you're inside of a cage, and they take your phone and check your pockets, and then they buzz you into that next door, and you're in there, man. You're in there until they want to let you out. So it was that first time I did that, it was going through those two doors. It's like, what are you getting yourself into? You got your wife with you. You got kids at home. Like, what's going on right now? And I didn't know a lot about it, but you know, you went in, had a good time, had some drinks, played some tunes, and
there's no
off you went.
But they don't jack with people that don't jack with them. That's it. Like you get into a street gang in Chicago, and them fuckers will just shoot anybody. They have no respect.
They'll fucking kill anybody. Yeah. There's no rules in that.
Yeah, it's kind of like the mafia guys. The mafia guys back in the day in Jersey and New York and all over every big city in America, they didn't fuck with people that weren't doing business with them. And if you did business with them and you did what you were supposed to, they didn't mess with you either. It was a business.
Yeah, and all these guys, they go to work every day. They're members of your community. They got kids in your schools, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So they're outlaws, but, you know, throughout the history of the United States, outlaws have protected our rights and taken care of their communities forever, right?
Yep.
I mean.
So remember that, Andy. I've got someone.
You've got someone. You got a problem solver. Did you hate having to put a name on somebody where you'd like, yeah, you'll be back in here?
There was some things you just wouldn't do. I think I was known as a tattooist with a lot of conscience and conviction, so there was things I just wouldn't do. But, you know, some people are just dummy. Let them make their fucking choices.
Because they come in and you're like, yeah, you'll be divorced in a year.
Yep. And, you know, it was kind of like one of those things. If you get a tattoo of a name, you're going to get a divorce. It just came together, or a breakup. They went hand in hand. It was like a death sentence when you did that.
So did you cover up a lot of names and shit like that?
Every once in a while, yeah. I tended to not like doing that end of the game, so they did up someplace else.
Right. Yeah. That is you know, whenever it got commercialized, I'm sure everybody just started taking, you know, every customer to make a living, but you were actually like, no, I'm fine doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't.
Yep. There were things like, you know, you get a young kid in that didn't barely have any tattoos, and he's trying to get his tops of his hands tattooed, and I'd say, you know what, kid, no. No. Not until you have full sleeves, you get in your hand or neck or face tattooed. It's just, I'm not putting you through this for your life, man. You don't know what's going on. I do in this industry, and you just can find somebody else to do it. And I try and talk them out of it. And if they took my advice, then good, we could figure something else out. And if not, they go someplace else and get it. But there was some things I just didn't want to bring home with me on my conscience. Mm-hmm. So.
But you had no problem doing a first tattoo on somebody as long as it wasn't like you said, the hands or something like that. Like, let's start at a reasonable spot and then let's work from there.
Sure. You don't want to, yeah. And, you know, back then it was a lot different. I think nowadays the world looks at it a lot different. You can get a job with your hands tattooed. You know, I see them at the banks. I see them everywhere. And back then, though, you were still
an outcast.
Looked down upon. You were an outcast. Yeah, you got looked at different.
Did you do any face tattoos?
A couple.
But like, I'm sure they were like tasteful, like not like a big.
Kind of tasteful.
How do you do a tasteful face tattoo?
Oh, there's ways, Jeff.
Well, tell me, explain to me.
You know, like one right here or your cheek or something like that. You know?
I saw a dude in the airport the other day in a business suit, and he had like a teardrop or something under his eye or something.
Really? See there, Jeff? We're coming a long way.
I thought. I bet he regrets that.
There was a NBA guy, Wilson Chandler. He played for the Nuggets and Nuggets and Knicks. Both, and also went to China and played. But in between the Nuggets and China, I tattooed him for like 2 or 3 weeks, and I tattooed him from his fingertips up into his beard line.
Oof.
And then every single bit of his waist up. And and whatever. I mean, I just remember coming up. It wasn't just like at his neck. He came up
to the beard
up into the beard line, you know. Wild. But yeah, he had a couple weeks off, and he came in and booked me for a solid month every single day, 6 hours a day. And if he wasn't getting tattooed, one of his guys or buddies sat down and got tattooed, and we got to know each other pretty well. Now he just moved into our town, and just last week up one of these.
You ran into him again?
Big ill.
We're losing service again all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We froze up for a little bit.
You said he's back in your hometown now?
Yeah, he's back in town. Yep, he's back in town. He just opened a large marijuana dispensary and growing operation in our town.
Beautiful.
And is kind of retired from basketball and put his money into that industry.
Listen.
He's going to make a lot of money.
He's going to make a lot of money in that industry because it's all.
Michigan's swamped with it.
Have you noticed anything? So recreational is legal in Michigan. Yep. Have you noticed any ill side effects?
Nothing.
You can't buy donuts.
Yeah, all the donuts. No, I haven't noticed anything. There's quite a few of them around, and they're busy. They're open from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m., and they are on a wait all day. It doesn't matter if there's 5 of them in a town or 10 of them. They're all busy.
You know what's funny? Somebody somewhere's losing out. The beer industry, the alcohol industry, somebody somewhere is losing out on this. Mm-hmm. They have
the cartels are losing out.
Well, yes. The cartels for sure are. There's no doubt about that. But there's everywhere that has them.
It's
It's everywhere. Well, somebody somewhere is losing out because it's kind of like Boss is. Boss sells direct to the consumer. These people are
Right.
growing and selling it direct to consumer. The middle guy, Walmart, the 7-Elevens, there's somebody's got they're having a meeting right now in the boardroom. They're like, we got to find a way to get this fucking marijuana in our store. Because
they're going to find a way to put it in like some sort of alcohol.
yeah, there's something that
There's something like that, some sort of consumable beverage I could see coming or something like that.
yeah they have there's because it's everywhere in every small town and stuff, and we even got a bongs and dongs shop here now, and we don't even legalize marijuana.
We
They
they sell CBD gummies and sex toys. So bongs
Yeah,
and
well,
dongs.
I've never heard that term, but I can see it.
You can get buzzed and buy a buzzer there at the same time.
Yeah.
Get whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Well, there you go.
Well, Dirk, it has been a pleasure. We've kept you over an hour, and like you said, if those machines aren't running, y'all aren't making money there. So we're going to let you go. That way you guys can get after it. Have a great time this weekend. I'm so glad that you found the passion of waterfowl hunting. It truly changes your life, and I can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, I needed that in my life too. I've had a couple back surgeries and some heart problems, so I walked away from surfing for a while, and I've just kind of floundered around for a few years trying to find something that really hit those notes. And this is the game that's a lot of fun. So I'm excited to experience so much more of it. I've got to come down there to Texas and do some hunting.
You come,
We
you
would
come
love
see
to.
us anytime. If not, I'll see you in April, and I'm gonna let you tattoo my leg.
We'll see you.
Well, Andy, Jeff, talk to you guys. Nice to see you.
Good talking to you
Been a
again,
pleasure.
sir. God bless you, and have a great day.
Bye.
All right, good day.
Dirk.
Interesting gentleman, I'm telling you.
is.
He's been all over, done all kinds of things.
He is. And, it's funny, too, because for a guy that has floated as much as he has, you know what I mean? Like, he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
He kind of this gypsy soul.
Followed his nose and did what he wanted to do.
But it's interesting that all the people that I know that are like that, you would think that they would just kind of be this free spirit that would just go with the wind, but they have to have a passion, and they have to have something that grounds them. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he says he needed surfing, he needed waterfowl hunting. But and the guy that I talked to at the party that, he's been all over, he's got his passions that he had to follow. But when you think of this person that just kind of freely roams, you think of them as almost carefree. But it's not that at all. Like, they need something in their life.
They follow their heart.
Yeah.
They live a life. When they put him in the ground, he's not going to have a lot of regrets.
No.
And there's not a lot of people that can say that.
No.
I know.
I can't say that.
I know more people that are opposite of him.
I'm opposite of him.
But he's the kind of person everyone's jealous of because he's done what he wanted to do, or has followed his passion.
Right. I'm jealous of him. Whenever I hear stories, like I heard this last weekend, this kid, he charters a boat in Turks and Caicos. He dives in Australia. He's everywhere.
You got to pull that nail out of your ass a little bit.
I can't, Jeff.
It's
in there. And
I'm a lot more Dirk than I am Andy.
I'm past the point to where I can do that. I can't do that. I got 2 kids now.
Well, I understand that, and see, that's why I go do my stuff I like to do.
But
now,
you know
because
what?
I don't.
But you know what's funny? So I'm jealous of the lifestyle that he has. But he says what he really wants now is a family.
The guy that you met this weekend.
Yeah, he said all I really want. Because we were talking. He's like, I really just kind of want what you have. I want a place to call home. I want a wife that loves me. I want kids.
Yeah, you have a lot that you just don't notice.
No. I do notice, but here we are. We're saying that we're jealous of this guy because all he's gotten to do. But now he's saying like, I just want what y'all have, because he was hanging out with a bunch of married couple that had kids running around. He was at a kid's birthday party.
Now, would he be jealous when he's listening to your wife bitch at you about something the kids do?
I don't know. Probably not. But I mean, he
there's a lot.
His job now. He's living, I think in like Rio de Janeiro in a millionaire's mansion. That's not living there, and he just rides dirt bikes.
There's a lot to be said for someone who lives by the seat of their pants, and there's also something to be said for someone that has a family and a lot of structure. The thing is you got to be able to blend that.
Yeah.
You know, Dirk's blended his.
He has.
And that's what you want. You want someone that, you know, I've always said before, when you die, you want to be able to have a book written about you. Not a best-selling book, not an auto, but just that you have a book full of things that you've done in your life, things you've seen. That guy that, when you ask him at his funeral, what can you say about him? He never missed a day of working. They're 40 years. You know,
It's a little sad.
what, you know, he once a year, him and his wife would go to the mountains for 3 days or something. You know, whatever it was.
Right.
And that's sad, you know. But he was happy, but he didn't know any different. But, you know, you want to be that guy that's got all kinds of stories.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the kind of life to live. And, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, get out of the big cities with your kids and move to a small town because there's a lot better for the kids. And another thing I'm going to tell you is go live life. You know, don't worry about how much money you got in the bank all the time. Spend some of that money and go do things. You know, go on some adventures. Go see some place you've never been. Because life's short.
And the world is very, very
And
big.
I can open up the Wichita Falls newspaper or look it up online, and I can look at them obituaries, and I can see somebody every week I know. Every week I know somebody that's in them obituaries. Some of them are old friends of mine, old classmates. It's their parents or something. And a lot of those people never done anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of them had the means to do it. That's what's really sad. So I'm jealous of guys like Dirk. I'm jealous of your buddy that you met.
Well, and that's what sucks is you finally get the means, and then your body gives out on you. And you're like, fuck, I can't go hike that mountain anymore. I can't go scuba diving.
Nope. And it's easy to say that when you can afford to go do things, but there's a lot of things you can do that don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Go live your life. All right, let's get off of here. We got a football pick 'em to do.
Good ending, Jeff. Go check out all of our wonderful sponsors. Check out Boss Shot Shells for all your shotgun shell needs. Pacific Call, Shin Gear Wader, Steak Plains Meat, Dive Bomb Industries, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gun Dog Outdoors, Goose Creek Retrievers, Bangtail Whiskey, Eyesight Drones, Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.